What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Getting into this episode of GH, I enjoyed this episode for the most part. It was entertaining, to say the least. A lot going on, new developments. Um, Gladys is forever getting on my nerves. I know that much. I love how Sasha and Brando pretty much were like pressuring her to like move out. Like, yeah, you got to get your stuff. You got to go. Like, they're sick of her. Like, Brando ready for her to pack up her stuff and get out of his place. Like, go get you a life. You know what I mean? And she's still sitting here. I don't see a rush for me to move out. So he had to let her know, like, Sasha, is a chance Sasha, is planning on moving in. So once she moves in and the baby is here, you got to go. They need the extra room. You know what I mean? There's not enough room for all of y'all to live in his place. Between him being there, Sasha living there, the baby, and you, ain't enough room. Ain't enough bedrooms. He probably only got what, two? Ain't enough. Where the baby gonna sleep? Um, it's like they're just gonna be living on top of each other, and that's just too much. Like, absolutely not. Um, so I love how they kept messing with her and stuff, and Sasha, because Gladys was sitting there talking about some, oh, I shouldn't have to move out right now anyway because Brando's barely home. And Sasha broke it to her like, oh, he's barely been home because he's been out, entertaining, to say the least, with his side jobs and stuff. And Gladys was like, what are you talking about? And she found out he was a stripper. I love how she spit her drink out. I love it. Um, I was like, yeah. And as I was watching, I'm just like, yep, it's true. Your son been out there shaking his rump shaker for money, shaking what his mama gave him for a few extra dollars. And she was not too thrilled about that. She was like, it got to be other ways to make money other than doing that. I'm like, yeah, well, being a stripper ain't nothing wrong with being no stripper. On a good night, strippers make real good money. On a good night, they make a couple bands, like a few G's if you're really good now. Make a lot of good money. Um, so of course, Vincent Novak pops up or whatever, and Brando and Sasha excuse themselves because they got an appointment that they got to go to. And Vincent was under the impression that Brando didn't like him. I'm like, of course he don't like you, because Gladys is just so simple minded. Like, she doesn't understand. You already got yourself mixed up in Cyrus's mess before, almost got killed, almost got your son killed. You know what I mean? Why are you doing it to yourself yet again? Like, she is so clueless. Vincent don't give a crap about her. She is a pawn in his game. That's all she is. He used her to, of course, get in with the Corinthoses and try to find out information through her from, on them. And she was so dumb, she played right into his hand. And she's continuing to play into his hand. Like, you're being foolish. Um, that's why I just can't stand Gladys. Like, she does anything for $1. Like, anything for $1. And that's a sad shame. Like, you're willing to put your son's life at risk and your own life dealing with shady people just so you can live good. Like, it's called get a job. That's all you gotta do. Get you a job. Um. So anyway, moving on from that. Speaking of Vincent Novak, OMG. Now we knew that the Novaks, some of the five family members, they are not fond of the way Carly and Jason are running things, of course. So now they done met up at the docks. Buchema, Miss Wu, and Mr. Novak. They all met, all three out of the five families, three of them met up at the docks to discuss the Corinthoses. And boy, oh boy, are they staging a coup. They are staging one hell of a coup. They are planning on destroying the Corinthoses every which way. Like, they really are. They're planning on attacking a warehouse. They plan on attacking them at their wedding. And they plan to split up Port Charles and run it by, three ways. Like, all three of them are going to run Port Charles together. I was like, OMG, there's no honor among thieves. Like, there's really not. You know what I mean? Like, Jason need to do something and do it quick, because their house of cards is about to come falling down. And Vincent wasn't really worried about Cyrus, because he was like, ain't really nothing Cyrus could do. He in prison or whatever. But Buchema told them that Cyrus had a message for them or whatever. He left some sort of note for them or whatever that we weren't privy to. So we don't know what Cyrus wanted from the 5 family members. Um, but this is gonna be quite the eventful wedding if everything goes according to plan. Like, this is gonna be a mess. Um, it's it's shaping up to be something bad. I hope there are casualties at this wedding. I really do. I hope there are. I can think of quite a few, but I hope there's casualties. So anyway, moving on from that, Jordan was looking like she was in a bad predicament. Like, Jordan was literally on her deathbed because she inhaled so much carbon monoxide that they had to get her on dialysis, and everything else for, to see if they can get her levels down, because her levels was so high, and if they don't get them down, she could die. So, everybody pulling for, TJ done called Sean to come up there or whatever. Curtis is basically by her side, fighting, begging her to fight to get out of this or whatever. And when Portia was standing outside of Jordan's room and watching Curtis at, Jordan's bedside and stuff, I was like, yeah, she see what we all see. I mean, I'm not surprised that Curtis still got love for Jordan. That's not shocking. You know what I mean? Just because, they don't want to be married, or he don't want to be married to her no more, don't mean that the love went away. You know what I mean? But I think in Portia's mind, when she saw that, she probably starting to think like, okay, so they really are not over like she thought. Like, Curtis still got feelings over there. That's why I feel like Curtis should have did everything he could to fix his marriage. Because in my opinion, Curtis really didn't try. I mean, he tried during the marriage to fix it. He did. I ain't even gonna say he didn't. Because during the marriage, he tried everything. Late night dinners, whenever she was working. And we all know how Jordan was a workaholic, basically. He would always pop up at the, the office with dinner, or ask her to come to dinner. She would turn him down. You know what I mean? So he did try. You know what I mean? And Jordan tried, but she tried a little too late. Like, you tried after he was already fed up and wanted a divorce. That's when she tried. But I still say, Curtis could have tried even then. You know what I mean? Like, to try to salvage it. But he didn't want to. And I think in his mind, he moved on. Maybe his mind did, but his heart probably didn't. Who knows? But we shall see. As, the days come, we shall see where, Curtis really want to be. Where he wants to be. But I'm glad Jordan woke up, though. I had a feeling she was going to wake up because I didn't think that they were going to kill her off. Of course, Jason and, Carly popped up at the wedding and whatnot. I mean, the hospital, to check in on Jordan or whatever when they heard about her. Because they thought Cyrus had something to do with it, as always. Anytime something go down, people always think either Peter or Cyrus got something to do with it. Honestly, I can't blame them because they got their hands in everything. But this time it ain't on them. Well, yes and no. I ain't even gonna say it's not on them, because yes and no. But Jordan, thank God she made it out. Long live the commissioner. Like I said, I didn't think that they were gonna kill her off. That would have been a shock if they did, but I didn't think that they would, though. So anyway, moving on from that, Maxie was getting on my nerves a little bit. Like, she really was. The way she was acting towards BLQ, you could tell she hurt her feelings, though. She hurt Brooklyn feelings because she was basically saying, like, you're not, Louise's mother, I am. And, that broke Brooklyn right there. But she was pissing me off because she's sitting there, taking issue with how BLQ is, attending to little Louise / Bailey. She's not liking her parenting, basically questioning it, about the fact that she's not holding her enough. And I'm like, my whole thoughts on the whole holding the baby thing, it's like, you don't want to, for me, from what I've seen personally, you don't want to pick up a baby and hold the baby too much, because then they get spoiled. Trust me, I know. My niece is like that. Like, she was like that. When she was younger, she was like that. You pick her up too much, they get spoiled. Every 5 minutes, they want you to pick them up. It's like, no, because then once you put them down, they cry, and then you gotta walk around and hold them all damn day. Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of that. No. I'm not going to keep holding you and picking you up every 5 seconds. That I'm not going to do. That's how they get in the habit of you doing it, and then when you put them down, they want to whine and cry all day. No. Nope. So I can't blame Brooklyn for that one. I cannot blame her for that. But Maxie, and Brooklyn got the idea that Maxie basically wanted to pull the plug on this whole plan. Like, she got the feeling like, okay, do you want to claim your daughter? And she's still sitting there, no, because it's not safe yet. Well, then shut your mouth. Like, obviously your daughter is being well taken care of, so be quiet. Like, stop complaining. It's not just BLQ that's looking after her. You got the rest of the Qs and staff and Valentine, so she's being taken care of. It's not like she's being neglected, because she's not. So calm down. Like, relax yourself. I feel like Maxie is overplaying her hand at this point. Even, Austin is suspicious that she wants to invite him to this wedding. You know what I mean? Because he was like, before, she kept pushing him away because she kept saying how he reminded her of what happened that night Louise was born. So he tried to keep his distance. Now all of a sudden you're inviting him to a wedding. That's why I feel like she was jumping the gun, and I said that yesterday, because all she had to do was invite him out for coffee. That's all Brooklyn asked her to do. Invite him to coffee. You jumped the shark by inviting him to a wedding. That's a hell of a leap from coffee. I'm just saying, she should have stuck to the plan. You know what I mean? Even though I still think all of this is one big dumb plan, but that's just me. I just feel like it's all just stupid. So anyway, moving on from that. So we get to Nixon Falls. Sonny sitting there telling Phyllis how he loved Nina and Nina loved him and whatnot. And I'm like, Sonny, I don't know if the love's still going to be there when you find out the truth. I don't think you're going to be too thrilled. I'm just saying. And I feel like he's definitely going to regret throwing that watch away, though. He definitely will. And you know what? I wish that Jax was the one to tell him the truth. Even if Jax would have told Mike that he was really Sonny Corinthos, that doesn't mean that his memory would have came back, per se. Not necessarily, but at least, the truth would have been out there. And what he does with that information, that's on him. But I still wish Jax would have picked up the phone and called somebody. You know what I mean? Because Nina, at times, she just kept seeming like she wasn't going to say nothing. Like, just being a fool, like she's not going to say nothing. So I'm glad Jax played up the Donna Avery card. You know what I mean? Because that's like the biggest card he had to play. And he brought up how what Valentine did to her by passing Sasha off as her daughter. And I agree. You're taking a father away from his kids and his grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're doing. And I'm glad that she finally realized that her plan all this time was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, I'm glad she realized it once he mentioned Donna and Avery. And she agreed to tell Sonny the truth. And I'm glad, Jax was like, you know what? I'm not going. He was like, I'm not leaving Nixon Falls until I know for fact that you told him the truth. So when she was waiting for Sonny to come back to the Tano, she turns around and look who's behind her. Peter August. She got some explaining to do, because I'm pretty sure he found out that there was nothing in St. Lucia, because unbeknownst to her, that plan that her and Liesl cooked up, it ain't go according to plan. So now he's back. And only Lord knows, I'm like, now you got another problem to deal with. Now you got to deal with telling Sonny the truth and Jax being in town. Now you got Peter over your shoulder now. How you going to get out of this mess? You know what I mean? Because I know he pissed. Because remember, Peter done warned her last time that if her, little St. Lucia tip-off was a hoax, he was going to get her. So now it's time for the get her. It's time for that part. I do not feel bad for Nina whatsoever. She brought all this on herself. I'm like, good luck to you. And I just want to say this about running back to the whole Jason Carly situation. So if his love for Carly was so suppressed during that time, what does he call what he was doing with Robin during that time? Like, he said, that's what I don't understand. Like, he's saying Carly was his first friend. What about Robin? What was she, chopped liver? A old shoe? Like, he act like that woman ain't exist. Like, I don't like this. I don't know what the writers are doing with this one. One of them writers, or a couple of them was in that writer's room just, yeah, we're going to write this. Yeah, you must have been doing something. Because that would make no sense. You must have been smoking that good stuff. Oh my goodness. They had to have been. But anyway, this was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I will see you all Monday. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. See you all later. Peace.